Ji sir, thank you so much sir. Good afternoon to all the dignitaries, principals of various law colleges, my colleagues, dear students, and our honored guest for today's event, Professor S.K. Bhatnagar, Vice Chancellor, Ram Manohar Lohia National Law University, Lucknow. A very warm welcome to you all on this platform. Myself, Mridul Srivastav, I have read, taught, and administered law as a subject. After enjoying each day of my 32 years old illustrious career at Rajasthan University, I joined Manipal University, Jaipur, to establish a School of Law at Manipal Group of Institutions. And now, Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Dev Saroop has entrusted me to establish law programs at Ambedkar Law University, Jaipur. Today, we are here for the inaugural function of the second batch of LLM one-year program of this university. Congratulations to all the students and welcome to Ambedkar Law University family. On behalf of Ambedkar Law University, it is my proud privilege to introduce our honored guest, Professor Bhatnagar, a renowned legal luminary who carries aura of visionary, who is an outstanding statesman and academician, has shown immense contribution towards changing the legal education landscape of the country, a well-known figure in the legal education, not here only, but in the domain globally. Prior to his instant as Vice Chancellor in Ram Manohar Lohia University, he was Vice Chancellor of Ambedkar Law University, Lucknow in 2001 and 2007. He has many articles to his credit in national and international journals and has also edited many books of national international repute. He has also been the member of First Academic Council of National Law School, Bangalore. During 4 decades as a law teacher, he has contributed in many institutions of national repute. I would like to take this opportunity to share with you all that how fondly our Vice Chancellor Dr. Dev Sro often mentions Professor Bhatnagar's name with great pride and dignity. We are honored to have your gracious presence, sir. We look forward to learn from his experience. I cordially welcome you, sir. Now is the time to introduce a person of fusion of many qualities, a leader, an administrator, and an academician who always strives for the welfare of the students and staff. He is a man who has encouraged all of us, motivated and inspired to reach heights. Our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Dev Saroop, is here to bless us. Dr. Dev Saroop is known for his administrative and academic acumen. As a former additional secretary, University Grant Commission, he was a prominent functionary for more than 27 years. As a Vice Chancellor, University of Rajasthan, his exemplary organizational and administrative skills have been the epitome of good governance. His place is marked with high regards in the history of University of Rajasthan. The university in the hands of founder vice chancellor here has grown enough to set high standards of quality education and will continue to do so to set higher benchmarks every year at Ambedkar Law University. Ambedkar Law University, I'm sure, shall surely see the light of the day as one of the prestigious law university in the country under his profound leadership. We are fortunate to have you with us, sir. I fall short of words when I talk about our Dean, Dr. G.S. Rajpurohit, who has stood tall with us at every step of the way. I cordially welcome you, Dr. G.S. Rajpurohit. I take this opportunity to welcome my colleagues, Professor K.L. Sharma, Professor Deepak Bhatnagar, and others who have always been a guiding light and a great mentor for me. For faculty members, Words are not enough to describe the hard work and the efforts they have put in. Our registrar, Mr. Ayub Khan, joined Ambedkar Law University a few months back. He has left no stone unturned and has helped us in every possible way to ensure that ALU doesn't fall behind. May I now request our Honorable Vice Chancellor to take over and say few words of blessing, sir.
Thank you very much, Mridulji, for your kind words. At the outset, I would like to welcome Honorable Professor S.K. Bhatnagar Sahab for gracing this occasion, sparing very valuable time, and his presence itself makes this occasion a special. So this is a special occasion in many ways, because this is the beginning of the second batch of LLM one-year program of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar Law University. All the students who have joined this LLM program are certainly very, very special for us. And by their joining, journey begins. And I'm sure that this would be a very, very fruitful journey. Professor Bhatnagar Sahab was very kind when I requested him to make a inaugural talk on this occasion. We all know about his scholarship. We all know about his administrative competence, acumen, his name and place and fame in legal education world. So we are really fortunate to have Professor S.K. Bhatnagar today, and all my colleagues in the university, Mridulji, Deepakji, Ayub Sahab, Varun Mishra ji, Mr. Nishant Srivastav ji, and all our colleagues are working very hard. I am sure that you must may be aware about this university. The university came into being by an act of state legislature on 26 February 2019, but it started functioning with the joining of the founding vice chancellor, that is me, on 2nd March 2020. And you all would be very happy that in a short span of time, university has achieved several milestones, whether it is UGC, BCI's recognition, or UGC's inclusion under 2F, AIU's membership, beginning of our first batch of LLM. They are going to complete their session now. And today, this is special occasion to welcome all the very talented boys and girls as part of this university fraternity university program. So for us, it's a very, very special occasion, and nothing can be better than the presence of Professor S.K. Bhatnagar Sahab and his kind words. So I would request Professor S.K. Bhatnagar Sahab to kindly deliver his inaugural talk, kindly enlighten us, kindly give your views on the present scenario of the legal education, and whatever you think appropriate for this fraternity, for the young students joining this university for LLM program. So with this, I welcome all dear students, and I express my gratitude to Professor S.K. Bhatnagar Sahab, and I certainly thank my own colleagues for making this occasion possible. And with this, I request Professor Bhatnagar Sahab to kindly say a few words now, please.
Thank you very much. Very good afternoon to everyone. Dr. Dev Saru, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Dr. Ambedkar Law University, Professor Mridul Srivastav, Mr. Ayub Khan, the Registrar, Professor G.S. Raj Purohit Sahab, K.L. Sharma Sahab, Deepak Bhatnagar, and other faculty members. The university is really new, but the Vice Chancellor is not new to the system. He had been the former Vice Chancellor of the Rajasthan University, and the Vice Chancellor, or the person who can manage the Rajasthan University, can manage Pakistan also. He had a very good stint at University Grants Commission for around 3 decades. So he knows everything about UGC. That's why this so young university, which started really functioning in 2020, is recognized by the UGC, by the BCI, by the AIU, and by other functionaries also, institutions, only because of Dr. Dev Sarup Sir. He is really a leading torch. He is very enthusiastic. And when he talked to me about this inaugural lecture, what happens that once the invitation has been given, then Vice Chancellor doesn't, track it. But he was constantly tracking me on phone, on WhatsApp, and not only he, but he had directed other faculty members like Professor Mridul also about me. And moreover, I was being given some tips and certain things which I must know before I joined this orientation program. This university is named after Dr. Ambedkar. So the young students and scholars are really very fortunate to have joined it. He was, everybody knows, the father of the Indian Constitution. You just go through the Constituent Assembly debates, you will find that how he dealt with the intricate issues which were logged in the proceedings of the Constituent Assembly. First of all, I pay my tributes to Dr. Ambedkar. मैं बाबा साहब की स्मृति को नमन करता हूँ. Today is the Engineers Day also. Now, engineer word does not come from engine. The origin of this term engineer is from a Latin word that is ingenium, and the meaning of ingenium is to solve the problems, to fix the problems. And lawyers are also social engineers. We also fix the problems, whether in the courts as lawyers or as judges, or in companies as legal advisors, or wherever there is a question of providing justice, we sort it out, because that is a problem. So we are social engineers also. Now, today you are joining this law university. So from today, I am addressing the batch of these 60 students who have joined LLM course. You are embarking upon a new journey, and lots of new experiences will come your way. They are waiting for you. You have already done your LLB. So how LLM is going to be different for you? In LLM, you need to develop a perception about the society, about the legal norms, about whatever is happening around you. As a social engineers, you must keep track of the events which are happening around you, and what kind of legal framework can be developed to deal with those problems. For example, COVID-19. COVID-19 is not only a health problem, but it is a legal problem also. Which government can deal with that? Whether compulsory vaccination can be done or not? These are questions which must come before you. So question arises, how do you develop your perception? Whose perception? Is it your perception, or there is something to guide you for developing your perception? Now for that, I will rope in the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India, you look at the preamble, from there you have to develop your perception. And when Dr. Ambedkar introduced this Constitution in the Constituent Assembly, on the eve of accepting or adoption of this Constitution, he had cautioned us, the we people of India, that we are entering into an era of contradictions. We will be having political democracy from 26 January 1950, but we need to have social democracy and economic democracy also. That we will have to make it. Otherwise, this constitution will not remain in existence for a longer period of time. Number one. Number two, in 1948, he had initiated a debate on a term which is now in currency because of Sabarimala judgment and other judgments, LGBT and NALSA judgments. But he had cautioned about it. That was in 1948, constitutional morality. He talked about constitutional morality not only of the governors, of the people also, of the managers also, everybody. He talked about morality, that is constitutional morality, to be developed. And he made a very critical remark about it, that the constitutional morality is not natural. It is to be cultivated. Now, how constitutional morality is different from other kinds of morality? Other morality, you can say societal morality, social morality. Now, for example, you take instances of honor killing through Khap Panchayat. So, morality or societal morality is that a girl has no right to choose her partner will be chosen by her parents or relatives, and she will have to abide the norms of the village. And what is the constitutional morality? The constitutional morality is in Article 21. Article 21 gives right to life and liberty to every individual. That means that a girl has a right to choose her partner. This is constitutional morality under Article 21. Now, this constitutional morality comes in conflict with public morality. So when Dr. Ambedkar was talking about constitutional morality in 1948, he was talking about this, that we have to develop a constitutional morality, we have to cultivate it, we have to nurture it. And that's why when we are talking about LGBT, then we have to develop an idea, a perception that they are also part and parcel of this whole citizenry, we the people of India. Now, when you are to develop this idea of constitutional morality or perception, how would you do it? For that, you will have to develop what I may call a kind of critical thinking. Critical thinking you have to develop. And you have to remember one thing very clearly, that law is not a single discipline. Law is a multidisciplinary study. Now, in 5-year course, it is very easily demonstrated, because in 5-year course, we teach sociology, political science, economics, and commerce, and psychology, and other things also. Why? Because a lawyer who is not knowing about the society is a very dangerous lawyer. So we have to remember this fact, that this study has to be multidisciplinary study, and we have to develop a critical thinking. How can we develop a critical thinking? Now, first of all, what you will be doing in your online classes from tomorrow or day after, you will be taught certain basic concepts. These basic concepts, for example, Article 21, right to equality, liberty, or Article 14. Now, you can memorize them, you can repeat them. These are the basic concepts. Article 21, no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. Article 14, the state shall not deny equality before law or equal protection of laws within the territory of India. I have memorized it. It is not going to help me, because I have to develop a critical thinking. So next step will be that I try to understand it. How do I try to understand it? That I try to classify all these things. For example, Article 14 is itself classified. You know about that. 15, 16, 17, 18, they follow. For example, you focus on Article 19. In clause 1, it gives you certain freedoms, 6 freedoms. Then clauses 2 to 6 put certain restrictions. So Constitution has classified, but you will have to classify. You will have to explain these basic concepts of liberty, equality, fraternity, these ideas. That will be the second stage. Then the third stage comes. And the third stage is, and that is very important, how do you apply these ideas, concepts to the real fact situation? Whenever a client comes to the court or comes to the lawyer, he does not know law. He tells the story that here is the story, I have done it like this. Then how the lawyer will apply it to the fact situation? So in that case, when it is a question of application, you have to use information in new situations. Whether Article 21 can be applied to right to education or not. Now, before 1992, nobody knew about that. You know that in 1950, nobody could think about it. The right to education can be a fundamental right under Article 21. So the situation is changing. Now, for example, whether a person has a right to COVID-19 treatment or to get admission in the COVID-19 hospital, you will have to apply your information and you will have to connect the facts with the principles and ideas and concepts. This is known as the application. When you find that, yes, we can apply these articles, for example, 14, 19, 21 to a situation, then what you do, you draw connection among different ideas. You have to make a distinction, because every time when there is a kind of a contest between A and B, I mean in the court, then one lawyer tries to distinguish it from other situations. And that is the task of not only of a lawyer, but of a teacher also, of a judge also, of a legal advisor also. So in that situation, you will have to develop the capacity of analyzing, because if you have to do critical thinking, analyzing the concepts in the light of your information, in the light of your understanding, in the light of your proposed application is very, very important. That's why you know that new situations will be coming up and you will have to apply all these provisions. The Constitution is not going to change. Article 14 will remain same, 21 will remain same, the words will remain same, but the new situations, new problems will come, and they will have to be dealt with your understanding, with your remembrance, with your application. When you have done it, then you will have to justify your decision. That is, it is known as evaluation. You have to evaluate. How do you evaluate? You defend a particular position. You take a position that, for example, I am going to do that. Now, if I am a defense lawyer, a person who is accused of murder will come to me. I have to defend him. I have to say that he should not be punished under Section 302. So in that situation, I will have to argue. But before I can argue, I will have to pass through that the first stage of remembering, then understanding, then applying, and then analyzing. Then I can evaluate and I take a position. I will defend, I will judge, and then I will create new knowledge. Now, you know, the HRD minister or former president of India, Pranab Mukherjee ji, if you can recall, all of them wanted that our universities must come within 100 universities of the world. How? We have to create knowledge. Universities are places where knowledge is created. That is our job. We have to do that. And how can we do that? We can do this through critical thinking. I am talking about law only, law and social sciences, because so far as physical sciences and life sciences are concerned, for them laboratories are required. For us, laboratories are their society, community. These are the laboratories, and we are living in the era of knowledge society. Whosoever controls knowledge, he will control, or that agency or country will control the world. So we have to create knowledge. So through critical thinking, you can create knowledge. And now what is sold in the market, that is knowledge. So that is the first thing which we have to do. LLM students must do that, because now you are a senior, law scholar, or I can say student also. So you have to do that. But how can you do that? First of all, you must have legal imagination. Now, after every 2 months, you will find that new kind of mobile or laptop or this electronic item comes. All these engineers in Nokia or in Samsung or in LG or in Dell or in this Apple, they are imagining. Is it possible? Now people are working that when you are watching a movie, you see from eyes, you hear from ears. Is it possible to smell also? That if something is smelling, and is it possible? They are trying. Why? Because that is their imagination. So how can we have imagination? We can have imagination of that society. That means our imagination will be legal imagination. Now you know about basic structure. Everybody knows about that. Is it written in the Constitution? It is not written in the Constitution. But basic structure is more important than what is written in the Constitution. How? It was the marvel of the imagination of advocate N.A. Palkhiwala, and then 13 judges. So he imagined a situation that is it possible that we can call out something which is beyond the reach of Parliament. So through critical thinking, we also know about Article 368 provides for amendment. He also knew about 368, but through his process of critical thinking, first of all, legal imagination and then critical thinking, they go together. Otherwise, then he could create the doctrine of basic structure. Likewise, right to education. Nobody could think about it, that right to education can be a fundamental right. It was clearly written in the original Constitution that it is a directive principle of state policy. And we know till date that the directive principles cannot be implemented through court of law. Even then, the advocates argued that look here, right to education can be a fundamental right. How? Because education is very important for right to life. Life without education is no life. So life does not mean only animal existence. Life means the life of a human being. And this was accepted by the Supreme Court. But how could it be possible at the initial stage? Because there was a bunch of lawyers who thought that it can be done. But how it could be done? Why they thought about right to education as a fundamental right? Or how in Vishakha case, you know, in Vishakha case, that is case related to sexual. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Very much.
Yes, sir.
वो
Yes,
तो मेरा
sir.
दूसरा मोबाइल पे भी कर रखा है.
Okay, why not, sir?
For example, Vishakha case, sexual harassment case, sexual harassment at workplaces. Now, if a woman is harassed, sexually harassed at a workplace, what will happen? She will not come to the employment. She will not come to the employment, then she will lose her livelihood. If she loses her livelihood, then she will not survive. And without livelihood, life is meaningless. So that is denial of right to life. Then it is also discrimination. The male members are not being sexually harassed. Only female members are being sexually harassed. So this is violation of right to equality, Article 14. Now, this was imagined in Vishakha case. And when it was imagined that sexual harassment is not only a criminal case, a criminal thing. It's not only a crime. It is a violation of human rights. Very precious right, right to life. Very precious right, right to equality. Very precious right, fraternity. How can there be there can be fraternity if a section of the society is harassed? So in Vishakha case, they developed this idea through imagination. There was no provision. And then they laid down the guidelines also. And after some time, now you know the act has come. and now those guidelines have been converted into an act. Likewise, right to education was also converted into a fundamental right, Article 21A. It could happen because of critical thinking and legal imagination. So first of all, what I said that LLM students have to develop a perception about the legal norms, their applicability in the society. Then they can, be different from the LLB students. I don't say that LLB students need not to develop perception or critical thinking or legal imagination, but you have to develop it faster, because now you are in the senior, batch of the legal discipline. How it can be done? It can be done developing through meta skill. Now, what is hard skill? Hard skill is knowing about the norms. For lawyer, I am talking about. So you will study case law, you will study these provisions and the act, and you will give your assignments like that. You will write your answers when you appear in the examination, and you will get the marks. So you get 80% marks, you are very good. But you have developed only one skill, that is hard skill. Then you have to develop the soft skill. What is the soft skill? How do you present? How do you present your arguments? What you present may not matter that much. How do you present? Somebody says, "मैंने भी तो यही थी, आपने समझ में नहीं आई." How do you say? How do you interact with the other part of the dialogue? That is the most important thing. That is soft skill. Soft skill, that is.
मेरी फोटो आ रही है, इसका मतलब ये
You are going for a presentation. You are having dialogue in these situations. As salesmen do, go to a sari shop. Male salesman is there, but वो अपने आप साड़ी दिखाएगा कि मेरे पे देखिए कैसी लग रही है. उसके चेहरे की तरफ अगर ना देखे तो साड़ी अच्छी लगेगी. So how do you develop meta skill? Meta skill can be developed through perspective. I talked about perception. Perspective. Whose perspective? Perspective talking means perspective of some other fellow. So when the lawyers were talking about right to education, they were having the perspective of other people. When this public interest litigation was developed, the lawyers were having the perception of other people. From their angle, they were looking at Article 21 or Article 40. That means दूसरे के angle से देखना. दूसरे के angle से देखना is perceptive talking, that you talk on behalf of a fellow. You do not belong to that category even then. It is for meta skill developing. Then pain spotting. This is very important. Pain spotting. You feel the pain. हालांकि कहा जाता है कि जिसके पैर में बीमारी नहीं पड़ी उसको क्या जाने दूसरे का, but we have to develop it. That is pain spotting. A lawyer has to develop a pain spotting, that the lawyer understands the pain of those who are not being educated, those who belong to LGBT category, those who are disadvantaged, those who are migrant workers, how they suffered during the first lockdown. That is pain spotting. Then storytelling. You collect all these facts and then you present before the court or before your boss, you can say, or as a judge also you have to create a story, because the first thing what the judge has to do is to call out the material facts. You know about that in pleading and convincing. So storytelling is very important. So when N.A. Palkhiwala said in the Supreme Court in Keshwanand Bharti case that your lordship, what is not written is more important than what is written. It is written that the written Article 368, the Constitution can be amended by Parliament, but it is not written that the Parliament can amend the fundamental rights or cannot amend the fundamental rights. It is not written. So where it is to be found, it is unwritten principle that the fundamental rights can be amended, but basic structure cannot be destroyed. So basic structure theory was brought like that. That is, a story was told that if this parliament constitution and the life of this Lok Sabha is 99 years, whether it will be accepted, though it is not written. So like that, he created a story. So the LLM students, the PhD scholars, lawyers must try to create a story. That is also a meta skill. And then you connect dots. Whenever a lawyer goes to the court or judge decides a case or a legal advisor briefs his boss, then he has to connect. For example, I am talking about Constitution. Article 14, Article 17, Article 23, Article 21. How do you connect them? Say for example, Vishakha case, 14, 21, 23, other directive principles. They are different dots. जैसे कि बच्चे dots करके वो sketch बना देते हैं. So if you look at the dots, the picture is not visible. But if you connect those dots, then the picture is visible. So in that way, that picture is created. That is one of the things which we have to learn. So we have to learn critical thinking. We have to develop our perception. We must have legal imagination. Then we have to develop meta skill. Meta skills are those skills which connect you with the society, connect you with yourself also. That is very important. The first meta skill is self-awareness. You have to know what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your personal traits. Whether you would be good in criminal law, or you will be good in jurisprudence, or you will be good in corporate world, or you will be good as a judge, or you will be good as a lawyer. You have to decide that. For example, I knew that I was not very good at criminal law because occasionally or frequently I go absent-minded. And a criminal lawyer cannot afford to be absent-minded for a minute only. A philosopher can be absent-minded for a longer period of time. So my forte was that philosophical thinking. So I went in the direction of this constitutional jurisprudence. I knew I cannot be a good practitioner at the court. I knew it very well because I was threatened by the environment. Okay, then I decided it may not be, it is my weakness, I will come here. So self-awareness is the first thing, meta skill you have to develop. That is, you have to accept your reality, accept that, know your strength, weaknesses, all those things you have to, and then you have to have empathy also. This is a very important thing, that if you are living in a society, whether you are an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher, you must have the feeling of empathy with other people. Then another thing is creativity. That is meta skill, creativity. For creativity, you must be a problem solver. You should not be part of the problem. You should be part of the solution of the problem. Because what is law? It is not legal education as such. It is justice education. Now, whenever we say legal education, we think that we are trying to develop some kind of capacity in a particular branch of knowledge. No, it's a justice education, whether as a judge, whether as a lawyer, whether as a legal advisor, we provide justice. Law is for justice. So it is justice education. When you look at your LLB, LLM, PhD from that angle, now what is the function of justice? Adjudication, that is solve the problem. So problem solving. For that, there are some unique problems, very difficult problems. Ram Janam Bhoomi, whether it existed here or not, it's a very difficult problem. So there you have to innovate and improvise. Innovation does not take place only in sciences. Innovation takes place in discipline of law also. Innovation, basic structure. Innovation, right to education. So all these examples you find are because of innovation, and it is creativity. In last, you go improvising. So whenever you go for innovation, you can improvise your arguments also, your thinking also, your ideas also. Your opinion, when you hold an opinion, you should be free. Some people say that I hold this opinion. And when you ask, you tell everything about the story, Even then he said, no, I hold this opinion. मैं उससे कहूंगा कि you do not hold opinion. Opinion is holding you. Opinion is holding you because you can't change. So you need to improvise. Only then you can be successful. That is another thing. And the last thing that is very important for a lawyer, not only I say for lawyer, for a human being also. Resilience. Resilience यानी धक्का सहने की शक्ति. Shock absorber. Because when you have a car, if the car has good shock absorbers, you will have smooth driving. Likewise, resilience means having shock absorbers. How do you that? You go for new experiments. You go for new experiments. If you go for new experiments, you may fail also. When you fail, then how do you overcome your failure? That is very important. And then you learn. So all these things are your part of meta skills which we have to develop. That is the self-awareness, number one. Number two, creativity. Number three, resilience. It is for a human being also. And then I talked about meta skills in business. They are applicable in law business also. I talked about number one, perspective talking, दूसरे के एंगल से देखना, पेन स्पॉटिंग, दूसरे का दर्द समझना, जो कि PIL में हम लोग करते हैं, स्टोरी टेलिंग, दैट इज एक कहानी बनाना, कहानी झूठी कहानी नहीं, उसके बेट उनके आधार पे कहानी बनाना. देन फोर्थ इज कनेक्टिंग दी डॉट्स, जोड़ना जो लीगल प्रोविजंस है, नॉर्म्स है, डिफरेंट IPC, CRPC, इंटरनेशनल कोवेनेंट्स आल्सो लीजिए. फॉर एग्जांपल इन विशाखा केस, the court had taken the international agreements and covenants also. So you can take help from American Constitution, from British Constitution, from other, branches of knowledge also. So जिसे कहते हैं कि हवा हर तरफ से आनी चाहिए अपने दिमाग को, you can't close. Then you will, excuse me, create meta skill. Now, in the कितना समय बचा है मेरे पास? कितना है? कितना बोल गया?
Sir, you may kindly, please.
Okay.
It's
Sir,
very,
please
very
continue. Please
enlightening.
continue.
Please.
Very interesting.
Now, what are the tools? Because when there is a kind of a fight between two siblings, दो भाई बहनों में अब तो खैर दो ही होते हैं, पहले ज्यादा होते थे, और हम 5 भाई बहन थे. हमने सुना है कि हमारे पेरेंट्स जो है वो 11, 10, 12 होते थे. तो उसमें जब बच्चे झगड़ते थे आपस में तो माँ के पास पहुंचते थे. उनके पास एक ही टूल होता था. वो टूल, वो अगर आराम से बैठी हैं तो सुन लेंगी, आराम से माँ पिताजी नहीं बैठे तो ये होता था, तो वो सॉल्व हो जाता था. वो टूल होता था. Now lawyers will have also to have some kind of tools. कौन से टूल्स हैं? You will have to develop from your study. इसको मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा because this is going to be online teaching and we are helpless. Everywhere it is happening. So what you do, that you must make small groups. You have WhatsApp, you have Zoom, you have a class of 60. You can make 5 groups, 10 groups, depending upon your interest, depending upon your district also, your area also, but not on the basis of caste, religion, or any creed or race. Don't do that. So you can have small study groups. Here you will come to know about other fellow class fellows also. That is very important because in LLB orientation, we tell our students that you are coming from your parents' house. Now you will choose your friends. So earlier, when you were in 10+2 or 10th class, your mother used to choose your friend. She would say, "Iske saath mat jana." Now you are coming to hostel. Now you feel free. Okay, you drink Coca-Cola, you drink Pepsi, you are free. But when you are choosing your friends, you have to be very cautious. So we make that caution very visible and possible in many ways here. Now, likewise here also, when you are going to have online teaching, you are LLM students, you have done LLB, आप mature हैं, समझते हैं, चला सकते हैं दूसरे को भी. But anyway, when you make study groups, then you discuss there these situations which are happening, the events which are happening, then you will have to use or utilize your knowledge, legal knowledge in LLM. Now in LLB, in constitution, you also studied, you can recall केशवानंद भारती केस. LLM में भी आपको केशवानंद भारती केस पढ़ाया जाएगा. तो फिर क्या करना है? What is difference between LLB and LLM केशवानंद भारती केस में? As I told you, you have to develop perception. But how will you develop your perception within the confines of law school, within the confines of a law college? For that, you need three basic, subjects: jurisprudence, constitutional law, and interpretation. As I discussed about constitution ko you have to develop a perception, idea of constitutional morality, idea of constitutional values, idea of constitution as a document of social revolution. You know, Gladwell Austin ने कहा था when this constitution was made कि ये भारत का सामाजिक क्रांति का दस्तावेज है, social revolution का. You have director of principal state policy, and we are looking towards future also. Unlike the South African constitution, उसका preamble अगर आप पढ़ेंगे, you will find it talks about past also, past injustices, past harassment, past victimization. That is written in their preamble. But in our preamble, we are looking towards future. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute into India to secure आगे justice, equality, liberty, all these things. But the most important thing which you have to remember is fraternity. If there is no fraternity, then this constitution or this country cannot survive. So we may talk about justice. There may be many judgments on justice, thousands of judgments on liberty, also hundreds of judgments on equality, also on hundreds of judgments. But justice, equality, and liberty, if they do not promote fraternity, they are useless. So you have to inculcate that feeling of fraternity. How do you do that? You read fundamental duties. Now, that is one part of your self-orientation. I am talking about the orientation of class, but you have to have your orientation, self-orientation also. So when you have got that orientation, then you come in the realm of the legal knowledge, that you have to use your knowledge to apply it in the outer world, so that आप बाहर के संस्कार को बेटर बना सके, आउटर वर्ल्ड को बेटर बना सके. ये कैसे करेंगे? आपके पास एक जुरिस्प्रूडेंस है. जुरिस्प्रूडेंस में डू यू रिमेंबर पॉन, सर रॉस्को पॉन? और मैं अगर चाहे तो आप आधा मिनट के लिए अपने को अनम्यूट करके बोल सकते हैं कि उन्होंने, सर रॉस्को पॉन्ड ने क्या थ्योरी दी. 2 टर्म्स हैं उसके, बोलिए.
सोशल इंजीनियरिंग सर. बस
बंद कर दीजिए, एक ही सुनना था क्योंकि सब लोग यही बोलते. और मैंने कहाँ से शुरू किया था? इंजीनियर्स डे है आज, लेकिन इंजीनियर का मतलब इंजन से नहीं है. इंजीनियर का मतलब है प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर, जो सॉल्व करता है प्रॉब्लम. तो आपकी इंजीनियरिंग आपको करनी है. सर रॉस्को पॉन्ड ने इंजीनियरिंग कहाँ बताई? कि कंपीटिटिंग इंटरेस्ट, ये 2 है, इनके इंटरेस्ट कंपीट कर रहे हैं. इधर से आता है लैंडलॉर्ड, इधर से आता है टेनेंट. लैंडलॉर्ड कहता है कि मैं ये चाहता हूं कि ये जब चाहूं वैकेट करा लूं, उससे नोटिस भी ना देना पड़े. और टेनेंट कहता है कि नोटिस क्या, मैं छोड़ू नहीं, मेरी 3 पुश्तें इसमें रहे और जब तक ये गिर ना जाए मैं रहूं इसमें. तुम रेंट कभी नहीं बढ़ा सकते. ये कहता है कि मैं हर साल में रेंट बढ़ाऊंगा. अब ये तो दोनों साथ ही रह रहे हैं. नाउ यू हैव टू बैलेंस इंजीनियरिंग. कैसे करोगे? एक इंटरेस्ट टेनेंट का, एक इंटरेस्ट दूसरे का. एबॉर्शन पे इश्यू चल रहा है. ये वुमन, शी हैज ए राइट टू हर बॉडी. कोई कैसे कह सकता है कि एबॉर्शन करो या ना करो, कितने महीने पे करो ना करो. इधर से दूसरा आके बोलता है मैं बच्चा हूं, मैं पेट में हूं, मेरा अधिकार है कि मैं जन्म लूं. उधर से तीसरा आ जाता है, वो अभी तक आया नहीं है, ज्यादातर पति है, कहता है कि ये बच्चा तुम्हारा अकेला है तो हम दोनों का है। ये केस हुआ है दिल्ली में, हाई कोर्ट का केस है कि ये बच्चा क्या है, ये बच्चा जो है ये हमारा मैरिज का निशानी है, हम चले जाएंगे निशानी रह जाएगी मेरी भी। तो ये तीन आ रहे हैं, ऑल दीज आर टू बी बैलेंस्ड। सो इन jurisprudence you will study the balancing of interest. What is a right? Right है क्या? Right is an interest recognized and enforced by law. कोई right नहीं है, right interest है, और ये मेरा इंटरेस्ट आपके इंटरेस्ट से कन्फ्लिक्ट कर रहा है, हम साथ में रह रहे हैं। That is, you have to learn that art. So मैं आपको बोलूंगा कि jurisprudence की किताब, क्योंकि मैं जब फिजिकली पढ़ाता था तो मैं बोलता था कि आप jurisprudence पढ़कर आए हैं, तो सब बोलते थे पढ़कर आए। मैं कहता था पढ़कर नहीं आए, आप पास कर आए हैं। jurisprudence को जैसे पास किया जाता है, जैसे बच्चों को मैथ्स पास करने का होता है, पास हो जाए, इंग्लिश पास हो जाए, सबके लिए एक एक प्रॉब्लम होती है jurisprudence। अब नाउ यू पढ़ो, एंड अब LLM शुरू हो रहा है, तो मैं आपको एडवाइस करूंगा कि स्कूल्स ऑफ jurisprudence यू स्टडी जस्ट विद इन 7 days, you read all the schools, 4 or 5 schools को you read from any book, दुक्की है, टिक्की है, छोटी बुक है, बड़ी बुक है, you read that, you will get an idea of social engineering. You have to be social engineer, you are an architect. डॉक्टर अंबेडकर को क्या बोलते हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के बारे में? He was a chief architect of the Indian Constitution. So you are an architect, you are an engineer, you will have to do that business. Jurisprudence, then you have got the ideas from jurisprudence, then you turn towards the Constitution. Constitution gives you provisions, but Constitution is not complete. हमने अपना संविधान दिया 26 नवंबर 1949 को, लिखा we the people of India have given to ourselves this constitution on 26 नवंबर 1949। क्या संविधान पूरा था? नहीं, एक साल के अंदर ही फर्स्ट अमेंडमेंट आ गया। वही कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली, नई पार्लियामेंट नहीं आई थी, ये ध्यान रखिए, 1952 में आई है, और 1951 में अमेंडमेंट, वही कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली वाज एक्टिंग एज प्रोविंशियल असेंबली। तो क्योंकि सिचुएशन बदलती रहे, सो द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन वाज चेंज्ड, एंड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन हैज बीन चेंज्ड मेनी टाइम्स, मोर देन 100 टाइम्स। सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज आल्सो चेंजिंग द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। कॉलेज सिस्टम ले आए, लिखा हुआ नहीं है। राइट टू एजुकेशन ले आए, लिखा हुआ नहीं है। देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स दे हैव ब्रॉट। सो यू यूज द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। Constitution has many gaps, many gaps. Why are the gaps? Because everything cannot be written. When you give some guidance to somebody कि तुम्हें वहां जाके ये करना है, you cannot tell everything. उसको अपना विवेक भी इस्तेमाल करना होगा। So this constitution is still being made. Now we are in the orientation program. The constitution is being made even now also in all the high courts, in all the Supreme Court. It's ongoing process. ये project अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ है। If you remember this, then you will be optimistic that मेरा case इसके अंदर आ सकता है। Not only about this constitution, about other acts also. तो hopeful जरूर होना चाहिए, optimistic जरूर होना चाहिए, client को बेवकूफ नहीं बनाना चाहिए, अपने अंदर से कॉन्फिडेंस होना चाहिए। When you are sitting as a judge or as an advocate or as a legal advisor or as a teacher also. So with that confidence, with that optimism, you use another tool. That is the third one. That is interpretation. ये interpretation ही है। अब गीता का, भगवत गीता का इंटरप्रिटेशन कितनी, उसको टीका बोलते हैं, ना जाने कितनी टीकाएं हैं। उसमें हनुमान प्रसाद पोद्दार की भी है, उसमें लोकमान्य तिलक की भी है, आचार्य रजनीश की भी है, ओशो की भी है, सबकी है। तो डिफरेंट इंटरप्रिटेशंस आर, सो यू मे हैव योर इंटरप्रिटेशन आल्सो। दैट इंटरप्रिटेशन कैसे होगा? यू नो रूल्स ऑफ इंटरप्रिटेशन, लिटरल इंटरप्रिटेशन, गोल्डन रूल, देयर आर सो मेनी रूल्स ऑफ इंटरप्रिटेशन। कौन सा आपके लिए अच्छा है वही रूल आपको लगा देना, और वो उससे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लगाना है, जुरिस्प्रूडेंस की फिलॉसफी को लेते हुए अपना क्रिएट करेंगे। जैसे अगर आप बच्चे के साथ कैरम बोर्ड या कुछ खेलते हैं तो आपको तो जिताना ही है बच्चे को, 4 साल के बच्चे से आपको हराना नहीं है, लेकिन उसको कुछ शंका रहती है कि हार ना जाऊं, लेकिन जीतने के लिए इतना ऑप्टिमिस्टिक होता है कि रूल नए बनाते जाता है और रूल बना बना के आपको हराता जाता है। जब आप कहते हैं वही रूल मुझको दो, तो रूल रिपील कर देता है। लाइकवाइज ये ऑप्टिमिज्म जो है, ये जो इंजेन्युइटी है, ये इनोवेशन है, ये इम्प्रोवाइजेशन है, दैट इज वेरी हेल्पफुल। एंड फॉर दैट principles of interpretation, the paper interpretation of statutes. And then lastly, law and social transformation. That is a compulsory paper. You have to study that. So when you go through all these things, जो challenges आगे आने वाले हैं COVID-19 के बाद, at least law के लिए तो अच्छा समय आ रहा है, कहना नहीं चाहिए। जैसे हेल्थ वालों के लिए हॉस्पिटल्स खूब चले, हॉस्पिटल इंडस्ट्री काफी चली, लॉ में भी बैंकरप्सी बहुत हो रही है, बहुत बैंकरप्सी हो रही है, बहुत इंसॉल्वेंसी हो रही है, कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में हंगामा मचा हुआ है। दीज आर द पेपर्स इन योर LLM कोर्स, दे आर बीइंग गिवन टू यू, सो यू ऑप्ट फॉर देम। यू विल फेस न्यू चैलेंजेस थ्रू योर क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, थ्रू योर लीगल इमेजिनेशन। अपनी आईज खुली रखिए, न्यूज़पेपर्स पढ़िए, टीवी भी देखिए, काम की चीजें देखिए, or then you develop your multidisciplinary approach, that is the problem solving approach, and you will be successful. आगे आने वाला समय अच्छा है, अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं, ये दूसरी तरह से समझिए इसको, क्योंकि लॉ के लिए ये अच्छा समय है। कई तरह के वर्क, लेकिन आपके पास अपनी स्किल्स होनी चाहिए, ऑनलाइन की, वर्चुअल कोर्ट हियरिंग की, मटेरियल को कैसे आप डाउनलोड करते हैं, क्योंकि अब सब कुछ यह वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड में जा रहे हैं। यू प्रिपेयर योरसेल्फ फॉर दैट, यू विल बी सक्सेसफुल। विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, sir. Mridul ji, please.
Please, sir. Sir, it was very nice and interesting hearing you, and I'm sure, sir, that your valuable inputs will really stay long with us and our students. Deeply honored for all this. And you have said very nicely that lawyers are also social engineers. Yes, sir, they are. Because in LLM, really the critical thinking is required. Because LLB and LLM and LLB, there's only this difference only that you have told Keshwan Bharti case. We have studied in LLB also and now in LLM also. And it is just the critical thinking that we have to put in now to understand more deeply that particular case or any other case also. So it is necessary to develop critical thinking and perception about what is happening around us and what kind of legal framework is required to deal with that. It is more important to know that. And through critical thinking also, there's, as you said, we can create knowledge which can be sold in the market. It is very true, sir. Without that, there is nothing and no value in the market also. We should not be a problem is totally true, sir. We should be a solution always. Problems are always there around us, but then there must be some solution. When you go to somebody with the problem, please take the solution is one of the mantras of law also, that you should know, you should study deep and know what to do now. Problem is always there, it will always surround you, but then you have to know the way out to get out of that problem. For example, right to education, you told us it was under directive principles of state policy, and then it became fundamental right, and the reason was critical thinking and legal imagination only. So we have to develop that in each and every student, and everything which we are doing is only based on critical thinking and practical aspects of what is written in the books. In LLM, our faculty is trying to do that. Analytical study कराएं इनको सर, ताकि बच्चों का mind थोड़ा open हो. Meta thinking के बारे में भी आपने बताया, and that is more important to know yourself before you know the others. दूसरों में बुराई निकालना बहुत आसान होता है सर, लेकिन you should know yourself first. Where are you standing? And that is the first step of meta thinking. And the other, what you told us about the empathy. Yes, it is the soft heart which should always be within everybody. and it depends on the soul which you have. You have to improvise your soul too for being a good person and personality. It speaks about you. Your personality speaks about you, sir. So you should work on your soul also. Now is the age, the LLM students' age is that they know what the soul is. So they should work hard for their soul also, so that they remain in that kind of world also. They should know that also. And the last thing which you told us about the tools. Yes, parents are always the tool for us. The problem is always there in our household activities or at our homes, but parent is the person who can always solve the problem, and so are we for the students. We try our best to solve the problems of our student with the tools which are surrounding us. We should also make small tools to make them understand about the perception, to make them understand about the balancing of the rights under jurisprudence, perception as morality under constitution, and of course liberal, golden, whatever rule under interpretation also. Thank you very much, sir. I am sure that it will create a carving, a bright pathway for our student and stay for a long time to come. Thank you, sir. We are honored by your gracious presence. May I request Dr. Dev Sarup, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, to please say a few words for him.
No, simply I would like to say that while expressing my gratitude to Bhatnagar Sahab, I can say that today's talk delivered by him and the learnings and lessons taken will go a long way for our students, for all of us. So once again, thank you very much, sir. And I will request you in future to be kindly consider us our request, as you were very kind.
कोविड-19 को हटवा दीजिए, कोविड-19 को भगाइए.
And will be an opportunity to welcome you offline in Jaipur. So, sir, it's very kind of you. And with this, I'll request our Registrar Ayub Khan Sahab to propose a vote of thanks. Ayub Khan Sahab, please.
It was a great privilege to have Professor S.K. Bhatnagar Sahab, Vice Chancellor Ram Manohar Lohia National Law University, to guide us. I thank him very much. And along with this, Honorable Professor Dr. Dev Sarup ji, Professor K.L. Sharma ji, the team members, Professor Mridul Srivastava Madam, Professor G.S. Rajpurohit, sir, all principals and staff of affiliated colleges and members, faculty members and students of the second batch of LLM and first one-year program, and the technical team who had provided us support for this great program we had. Thank you very much, sir, once again, and hope to see you in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a great time.
बहुत अच्छा लगा, बहुत धन्यवाद.
Thank you. Namaskar, sir.
नमस्कार.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, students. Thank you.